Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am once again playing Arkham Horror, the card game. Specifically, I am playing the Path to Carcosa campaign. I am on the third scenario called Echoes of the Past. Just a quick recap. King in Yellow, a play, came to Arkham. My two investigators went to the play. After Act 1, they fell asleep, they woke up. There were corpses everywhere. They investigated and they saw this guy in a mask, but they couldn't quite get him. He kept disappearing. So the theater caught on fire mysteriously. They fled. They went to the cops. Cops didn't believe them. They went back to the theater, found it locked, and there was a poster on it talking about an after party that was being hosted. They went to this fancy house where the cast and crew and some of the financiers and the director, various people associated with the play, were there. As they approach the house, they hear weird music. They see blood on the ground. They go in, and it's just crazy. Like, the people there are insane, but they don't know that they're bloodied and stuff like that. They did some more investigating there. The man with the pallid mask came again. They spoke to a number of the people there associated with the play to get more information, which was, in turn, the currency was clues that I was allowed to take. I fled the house. Too much craziness. I was able to convert 14 clues, 7 each, to my investigators. They had 4 XP carried over from the previous one, so they had 11 XP in all. I have upgraded my decks. Harvey got Charisma, so did Roland Banks, although I've already shuffled his deck, so I better go ahead and find that one and pull it out. Charisma allows them to have 2 allies instead of 1. For me, my style of play, I tend to rely on my allies, so I like to have more allies out, and two will be good if I can find them and get them. What I'm going to do right now is read you the Echoes of the Past introduction. Your head throbs with a dull ache as you drive through the rainy streets of Arkham towards your next destination. The threat of the stranger looms in your mind, and you find yourself glancing often at your rearview mirror, expecting to see the expressionless visage of the mask haunting you. Instead, you see nothing but the misty, starless night and the deserted road behind you. Your thoughts once again wander, as they often have in the past few hours, to the King in Yellow and to the city of Carcosa and its inhabitants. What was the message hidden inside that awful play, the meaning within its madness? A lone detail worms its way to the forefront of your thoughts, one made apparent by the discussions you overheard at Miss Dumain's estate. That tonight's performance of the King in Yellow was not the first Arkham had seen of the foul play. There had been at least one other performance directed by the same man, Nigel Ingram. There is one place in Arkham where records are often kept of important events occurring within the city, the Historical Society's Manor House in Southside. If there are any records of the previous show of the Kings in Yellow, the Historical Society may have held on to them. Perhaps there you will find answers to the questions that burn in your mind. So, check campaign log. If Sebastian Moreau is listed as interviewed, proceed to Sebastian information. I don't think I interviewed him. I did not. He was the one I did not get to interview. So I won't be reading his details here. Otherwise, skip to setup. So, setup I've already done. This building is 3 stories. First story, second story, and third story. The rules told me to spawn a Seeker of Carcosa on the first floor, mainly because it said if there's 1 player, you don't do that. If there's 2 players, you spawn 1. Technically, I'm 1 player, but I'm playing 2 investigators, so I'm treating that as a 2-player game. Then it says, check the campaign log. If you fled the dinner party, you arrive at the Historical Society with time to spare. Each investigator gets 1 additional action during their first turn of the game. All right, so I get 1 additional action. They start in the entry here. Let me draw Harvey's cards. I've already shuffled all the decks, but I'll just do it one more time. And Harvey gets a 5-hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what he gets. Medical text, good. Deduction, I don't care for that. Flashlight's great, and Arcane Enlightenment is good as well. I'm going to get rid of the Solano Fragments and draw another one. I got a weakness. I got the Man in the Pallid Mask, a weakness that gets drawn, and you don't get to undo that. So that was, well, he was going to come up the next turn anyway, so that's okay. And the rule is spawn him at the location farthest from all investigators. Well, right now that would be on the 3rd floor, and I will put him up here in this room, and he stays there until we interact with him. Let's see, what else? I need to draw Roland's cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And let's see what he got. True Grit, Glory, 45, a weapon, good. Stand Together, that's good. And Greta Wagner, that is good too, an ally. All right, I will keep those. Everybody starts with 5 resources. 1, 2, 3. I should have done this before I started filming, but sorry, you'll just have to watch me count out everything. Harvey has an interesting first, on his turn when he draws a card, he will start drawing 2 cards. I get to keep one. The other one goes into the discard pile. He has quite a few cards, though. His deck is at 43, and if that sounds wrong, normally a deck is 30, but he has this permanent card called Forced Learning, which allows his deck size to go up by 15, so he can go up to 45 cards. All right, they both begin in the entry hall. Let me read the agenda and the act. The agenda, 1A. The truth is hidden. Surprisingly, the front doors of the Historical Society's Georgian Manor are cracked halfway open when you arrive. Who else could be here at this hour? Skip the place 1 doom on the current agenda step of the Mythos phase. So you don't put a doom token here. Forced. After 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy in play, flip those clues to their doom side and they would contribute. So after 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy, and this will take 4 clues to advance. All right. I don't want this one to advance. I do want the act to advance. Act 1A, Race for Answers. Each of the Historical Society's many rooms contains records and documents that may aid you in your search for answers about the King in Yellow. There must be something here that can guide you towards the truth. It takes 4 clues to forward that one. Let's go ahead and flip over the entry hall. There are no clues here. That doesn't surprise me. And it's got a 2 shroud. Entry hall is connected to each other ground floor, which is these 2. All right. And resign. You flee, leaving the mysteries of the past. So when I come back here as an action, I can choose to resign, which is to leave. All right. Quiet hall is connected to each other. Oh, wait, I got these in the wrong one. It's like that. Quiet hall is connected to the other 2nd floors. 3rd floor is connected to the other 3rd floors. How do you get up? There should be stators, right? Wouldn't you think? Oh, the yellow connects here, and this one connects there. That's what it is. All right. So just so you know, I'll put that like that and put that like that. And just remember, each floor is connected. All right. Let's do this. I'm going to send Harvey to this side. Oh, I don't know what I did that. He'll move for his first action, which is free. Remember, he gets an extra action. The Historical Society says, forced. When an enemy spawns at this location, reveal it. So nobody was spawned here. But there was one this. When an enemy spawns here, reveal it. So the Historical Society, this is called the Records Office. It's got 2 clues, a 2 shroud. Each enemy at this location gets +1 fight and +1 evade. All right. There's an enemy here. It's aloof. As long as I don't attack it, it won't attack me, I believe. I'll have to read that later. All right, so there are 2 clues here, and it's got a shroud of 4. So let's see what Harvey can do. First thing I want to do, obviously, is get the flashlight out. I'll pay 2 to do that. It gets 3 charges. And each charge reduces the shroud by 2. So I will spend 1 to knock that down to 2. That was his first action, was to play. Second action is to investigate. His investigate is 5 versus 2. So let's get the token bag out here. Shake it up. 5 versus And I got 5 minus 2 is 3, so I do get a clue. And then investigator draws a card. After you defeat an enemy, discover a clue. Okay. So for his third and final action, he will do it again. I'm going to save that flashlight. Well, 5 versus 4 is not good. I'm going to pay another one to make it 5 versus 2 again. Ooh, Tombstone. What is that? Tombstone is -2. If you fail, discard a random card from your hand. Well, fortunately, 5 minus 2 is 3, and that is enough to get the second clue. And this one is done. Exhaust an ally. Discover a clue. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even see that, but he doesn't have an ally out right now. All right, so put this one back in, and that is Harvey's turn. He is done. Let's go Roland. Let's go over here. He'll go here for his free action. Remember, you get 1 free action the first turn. Two clues, 2 shroud. All right, well, good. It's not too high of a shroud for him to do. He's not my best investigator. He is good, but he's not that good. All right, his cards. So he's got 3 actions left. Let's get the weapon out. You just never know when you're going to need it. So the weapon is going to cost me 4, and it comes with 4 bullets. So I'll put 4 charges on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that was his first action. Second action, he will investigate. Yeah, I don't really want to use any of the... Well, this one's not bad. In fact, probably have to draw 2 cards. I'm going to do this only because that'll knock it up to 5 versus 2. I like those odds. 5 versus 2. Five plus 1 is 6, so he gets a clue. And for his third and final action, he'll do a straight investigate, which is 3 versus 2. Do I really want to do that? Yeah, because I don't want to give up Greta Wagner. She's a good ally. All right, 3 versus 2. Three plus 1 is 4, so he gets the second clue. This is off to a good start. Why? Because I now have 4 clues. The 4 clues I can cash in to advance the act. It takes 4. You find a record kept by one of the Society's historians pertaining to the, quote, dreadful events surrounding the closing of an old theater in Arkham, the Cedar Playhouse. Though there is no explicit mention of the King in Yellow, you believe you are on the right track. The historian's notes are cut short, and there is a faded handwritten page clipped to the final entry. This matter is too ghastly for the public eye. I am placing the remainder of this record in the hidden library. All further inquiries should be done away from prying eyes, for this is a dangerous matter and not one to be researched lightly. For each revealed historical society location, add 2 clues to it. Okay. To a maximum of its clue value. For each revealed, add a clue to its maximum of its clue. So this one starts out with 2, and that's the maximum it can have. So I guess this one is revealed. For each revealed historic society location, that one is, add 2 clues to it. So I can add 2 clues to this one, and what do I do with those other clues? 1, 2... Oh, I put them there. Let me get 2 more clues. 1, 2. Not bad. For each revealed historical society location. This is revealed, that's revealed. Oh, and this one's revealed. When an enemy spawns. Okay, this one's got 4 with a 4 shroud. While investigating this location, while an investigator controls Mr. Peabody, it gets -2 shroud. Okay, so let me put 4 clues on that one. Or, yeah, 1, 2... 3, 4. All right, so this is done, and now I get mistakes of the past. Somewhere in the manor is a hidden library where you might be able to find more information about the King in Yellow. You must find the way in if you are to continue your investigation. It will take 4 clues again. All right, so This says, forced, at the end of the Mythos phase, move a clue from Seeker of Carcosa's location to the Seeker of Carcosa. If you cannot place one doom. That's how they get the clues. At the end of the move one clue from Seeker. So the clues are going to disappear to here. All right. So remember, I don't put a doom token here. I check to see if there are one or more clues on an enemy. All right, I got it. Okay, so I need to get up there and beat that one to death. All right, he is done. That is all I can do. It is now the enemy phase. The enemy here does not move. Which means I go to upkeep. I flip these over. They each draw a card. He draws Unexpected Courage and gets a resource. Harvey gets a resource, but remember, he draws 2 cards, and he gets to keep one. As an additional cost to play, discard up to 2. This is a great card, but this one gets me clues. Fast, play during your location, discover a clue. So I'm going to get rid of that one and keep this one. And let's see. Now it is the Mythos phase. So rather than put a Doom token, I have to do this. I move 1 clue from from the location to. All right. This says after 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy, flip those clues to the Doom side. So this becomes a Doom token. Ugh. All right. Okay. Well, darn it. Let's get moving here. I need 4 clues. So I've got 4 right here to get that going. I could do this. So here's what I'm going to do. Harvey's turn. Oh, no. Sorry. Got to draw cards. Harvey went first, so he draws an event card. He gets the King's Edict. Revelation. For each cultist enemy in play, this is a cultist, that's not, move 1 clue from that enemy's location to that enemy. At the end of the Mythos phase, move 1 clue from Seeker. Okay, so this says after 1 or more clues. So at the end of the Mythos, I'm still at the Mythos phase. So I move at the end of the Mythos phase. So this stays here. We're not at the end of the Mythos phase because I haven't drawn the cards yet. All right, got it. So for each cultist enemy in play, move 1 clue from that enemy's location to that enemy. Boom. Until the end of the round, each cultist enemy in play gets +1 fight for each clue and or doom on it. If no clues are moved by this effect, the King Edict gains Surge. All right, so for each cultist in play, move 1 clue until the end of the round. Each round, and so until the end of the round. So this card will be discarded at the end of the round. All right, now that was Harvey. Roland draws, and he gets Fanatic. Revealed location with the most clues. That's right here with 4. Forced. After it enters play, move 1 clue from its location to Fanatic. Forced. When you defeat Fanatic, take control of its clues. I need to get up there and beat him. I need to beat both of them. All right, so I automatically, after he enters play, move 1 clue. All right, there's a clue. Forced. After 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy in play, flip those clues to the Doom side. So these automatically become Doom. But then how do you, when you defeat it, take control of all of its clues? If the Doom becomes a clue, how does it ever get? Because this says after 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy in play, flip it to the Doom side. So this goes to the Doom, this goes to the Doom. Now it's the end of the Mythos phase. And this says at the end of the Mythos, move 1 clue from Seeker. And this says after 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy, you flip it over. So I don't think I can get these clues back. That is really odd. All right. So why would it say after Fanatic enters play, move 1 clue? When you defeat it, take control of all of its clues. Maybe the Doom tokens flip back to skip the place 1 Doom on the agenda of the Mythos Age Force. After 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy in play, flip those clues. We'll keep going. I don't know. All right, so it is now Harvey's turn. Harvey will pay 2 resources to play Working a Hunch to get 1 clue automatically. He will play If this skill test is successful, discover one additional clue. And even if there's not enough clues, I can still get an extra clue, even if there isn't one. It's like you dig deeper and you find one. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to play deduction. It's 5, 6, 6 versus 4. I will play the last flashlight to knock that down to 2. So it's 6 versus 2. I really want this clue because then I'll get a second clue. 6 versus 2. I got a tombstone, which is -2, so I did do it. So I get a clue and I get another clue. So he's got 3 on him right now. And that is that the end of his turn? No, he's got, let's see, he played the card. That was 1. Then he played deduction. That's 2. He's got one more. Or what I could do is take that one instead of giving him that one and move him. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that one back. I'll take that one. So he's got 3. How did he get? He pulled 1 and he got an extra one. So there were 2 clues on here, but he got the extra. That's it. So he does have 3 clues. All right. And he gets 1 move. He has to go back to the entry hall because that's the only place. So he'll move here, and then he is done. All right, so that's it for him. It is now Roland's turn. Do I want to get up here? These guys are going to start. She has no more doom. He'll pull 1 more doom, and which will flip that. But I can stay ahead of the game by getting 1 more clue, which I will do. I will play Unexpected Courage, which is a 2 wild, which knocks him up to 5 versus 2. 5 plus 1 is 6. He gets the 4th clue. I will cash these in. This is going very quickly, but I don't know about the next one. All right, the next one's going to take 6. All right. As you rummage through a desk drawer, you are startled when you hear a voice behind you. Excuse me, can I help you? You are relieved to find the voice belonging to a thin, elderly man wearing wide-rimmed glasses, a member of the Historical Society, no doubt. You explain to him that you are searching for a hidden library somewhere in the manor, though you purposely leave out why. He introduces himself as Mr. Peabody, the Historical Society's curator. I'll help you find what you are looking for, he explains, but only if you tell me what this is all about once we get there. You hope it doesn't come to that. For each revealed Historical Society location, add 2 clues to it. 1, 2, up to its max. This one gets 1. This one gets 2. This one will get another one. And it can go up to its max, so 2. So I assume it's thematic. The reason they keep filling with clues is I'm in a historical society. Everywhere is knowledge, so that's kind of cool. Choose an investigator to take control of the set-aside Mr. Peabody asset. Put the set-aside hidden library into play. All right, Mr. Peabody. What did I do with that? Is it here? Yes. Mr. Peabody. Let me decide. Who am I going to give him to? I'll have to read his card in a second. Put the hidden library in play. While an enemy is moving, hidden library gains the passageway trait. I don't know what that means, but we'll put it right here. And the rest of these are over here. All right, so I did everything it said. Revealed, add 2 clues, choose an investigator, put the set aside. All right, let me reveal him. Mr. Peabody, ally, as an action, exhaust him. Choose a location. Until Mr. Peabody readies, that location gets -1 shroud and gains the passageway trait. Oh, nice. So he is an ally. So I tell you what, I'm going to take him to Roland, because Roland has 2 more actions. He can now move to the hidden library. It's got, because of the passageway trait. Hidden library gains the passageway. So I will move to the hidden library as his second action. And it says, until exhaust him as an action. Choose a location. Okay, so he's exhausted. Until he readies, that location is -1. So he's exhausted. And this is a 3 shroud. And it says, while an enemy is moving, Hidden library gains the passageway trait. Oh, neat. Hidden. Okay, so while an enemy, but none of these enemies are moving just yet. Well, the fanatic, he stays there. It's just spawn. He does not have hunter, so he'll stay there. Roland is here. It's got 6 clues on it. Wow. All right, let's do that. 6. 3 and 3. All right, and he will investigate for his third and final action, and it's a Shroud of 3 versus his Research of 3, and oh man, this may not go well. He can stay in the hidden library, but I have to get all the clues off it in order to get that 2 victory points. Oh, and I forgot to read the oath. Sorry. This building is very old and filled with all manners of secret passageways, Mr. Peabody explains. Perhaps one of them will lead to this library you're looking for. Locations with the passageway trait are connected to one another. All right, well, there's only one passageway. Locations with the passageway trait are connected. Okay, objective. Only investigators in the hidden library may spend the requisite number of clues to advance. So I got to get 6 clues. Oh, man, maybe Harvey should have gone in there with him. Oh, well, too late for that. But choose until Mr. location gets and gains the password. So that I can get him here. I can. So here's what we're going to do. He is done. It is now the enemy phase. This enemy does not move. This enemy does not move. This enemy does not move. So I flip over to the upkeep phase. Roland gets a resource and a card. He got a weakness. Choose and discard all but 1 card from your hand. Well,
check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.
I'm going to keep Greta. She's such a great asset. I can't lose her, so I'm going to keep her. That was his draw, and he got a resource. Harvey gets a resource and draws 2 cards and gets to keep 1. Deduction or encyclopedia. Well, deduction says if this skill test is successful while investigating, discover an additional clue. Yep, I will keep that one. This is all about getting clues. So let's see. That is the end of the investigator phase. Now it's the mythos phase. Instead of placing a doom token, there are 1, 2, 3. After 1 or more clues. Okay, so after 1 or more clues are removed. All right, so this one, after he enters play, so he doesn't get another clue. Take control of those. Okay, so he doesn't, but she will, which is unfortunate because that's going to flip this card. But it doesn't happen until the end of the mythos phase. This says at the end of the mythos phase, move 1 clue. So not yet. So instead, what happens is skip the agenda on the track force after 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy. All right. Then we draw a card. So Harvey went first, I believe. Yeah, he went first. The King's Edict. For each cultist in play, move... Oh, great, that one again. This should go away. That was the end of the round. For each cultist in play, that's a cultist, that's a cultist. Move 1 clue from that location to that enemy. Until the end of the round, each cultist in play gets +1 fight. Okay, now they have clues. Now, unfortunately, that stays a clue. That's what happens. This one does not become... Well, it does. It says after 1 or more clues are placed on an enemy, flip it to a doom. So this will happen, and this will happen. We now have 5 doom tokens out. It is the end of the mythos phase. So these go away, which flips this. A phrase in a language you cannot describe whispers through the building, and without warning, all of the electric lights shatter at once. You light a nearby candle and continue your search. The building is quite different once plunged into darkness. Shadows and silhouettes dance along the walls. Crevices you hadn't noticed before draw your wary eye. What other secrets does this building hold? Shuffle the encounter discard into the encounter deck. All right, so there's just the 1 card. And it will go into here. Is that it? Yep, just this one. So let me shuffle it, and then I'll read the next agenda. All right, shuffled. All right, read this one. Ransacking the manor. Though the whispering has ceased, the sound of rummaging and furniture shifting is unmistakable. Whoever is here, they're searching just as thoroughly as you are. Again, skip the place the one doom. Forced. After one or more clues are placed on an enemy in play, flip those clues to their doom side. All right. This one only takes, again, 4 to advance. I need 6 to advance this. Let's get Harvey. All right, so I forgot to refresh this. All right, so exhaustion. Choose until he readies. Until Mr. readies, that location gets monster and gets a passageway. All right. The passageway trait. While an enemy is moving, hidden library gains the passageway trait. But this says locations with the passageway trait are connected to one another. Only investigators. Okay, hold on. Can I not get there? Choose a location until Mr. Peabody readies that location. All right, so he has to go first in order to open up the passageway. All right, so Roland will go first. Unfortunately, he's only got 1 card. He's not going to do much for researching with a 3 versus 4. So instead, what I'm going to do is buff him up with some cards. I'm going to go 1 action, draw a card. Not bad. 2 action, draw a card. Doesn't really help. And 3rd action, draw a card. And none of these are going to help him research. So he is done. Now, oh yeah, and he will, oh, you know what? He'll have to put 1 back because he's going to use an action to exhaust Mr. Peabody. Now this passageway is open. So on Harvey's turn, he will move for the 1st action. He will move for the 2nd action. He's here now. And that is, he's got 1 more action. He can investigate. Thankfully, I've got this deduction card, which says if you succeeded in investigate, you get an additional clue. So he can get 2 clues with this card. So he'll play it. He is 5. This gives him 6. 6 versus 4. I do not have a flashlight, so 6 versus 4. He does. 6-0 is modified, so this comes away. I get 2, and 1 goes back on. He gets 2. And that is the end of his turn. All right. Now, enemy phase. This one does not move. This one does not move. He does not move. So this is kind of weird. I know there's enemies in here, so that's probably what's going to happen in a moment. Let's see. The enemies don't move. So upkeep phase. So flip these over. They each get a resource. He draws a card. He gets first aid. I already knew that. And he draws 2. 1, 2. Higher education or Witten Green. I like Witten. She is a great ally. I will keep her. And that is the end of the upkeep phase. So now we go to the Mythos phase. Once again, at the Mythos phase, you after 1 or more clues, they're flipped. So there's none here and none here, but there's getting ready to be. It is now the end of the myth, or it's not the end. I have to draw a card. Roland went first, and he draws Hunting Shadows. Revelation. You must either spend a clue or take 2 damage. Well, I don't have any clues. So he will take 2 damage. If I can find the damage. Come on. I am going to make me a better counter holder than this little box. This is just really a pain. All right, so he takes 2 damage, which he's got 9 health, so he's okay. All right, and then Harvey draws the Cult's Search. Revelation. If there is a cultist enemy in play with Doom on it, there is not. Move all Doom from each cultist enemy to the current agenda. This effect may cause the agenda to advance. If there are no cultist enemies in play with Doom on them, If there are no cultist enemies in play with Doom on them, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a cultist enemy and draw it and shuffle it into the... So we're going to have an enemy is going to... these aren't enemies. So an enemy is going to engage with Harvey since he drew that card. There's an enemy, Seeker of Carcosa. It appears here with Harvey. Now remember, it's engaged with him, but it's aloof, so it will not hurt him as long as he doesn't attack it. But what it is going to do is it's going to steal it's going to steal the clue tokens. Which here we go. So it's the end of the Mythos phase. So again, at the end of the Mythos phase, move one clue and flip it to Doom. Move one clue and flip it to Doom. So now there's not as many. I'm going to have to leave the hidden library to get a clue and then come back in. All right. That really stinks. Okay. 1, 2, plus 3 is 5. Yeah, I won't have enough. All right. So none of these give me any bonus clues, which is unfortunate. All right. It is now, so I drew those, I did the Doom, it's now my turn. So we got to get this Doom off of here before it goes away. So Harvey is going to do an investigate. There's 3 left. So for his first investigate, he's 5 versus 4. I need these clues. I really do. I hate to do this, but because it's cost 5, I'm not going to be able to do it anyway. I'm going to use this to bump it up to 6 versus 4, and then Harvey will get rid of Witten. Actually, Witten gets +1 when you control a tome or relic. I do not have a tome or relic. So he will donate this to make it 7 versus 4. 7 versus 4. The auto fail I don't want. And I got the auto fail. It's true. When you play Arkham, this game is cursed. When you tell yourself don't draw the auto fail, you do. So you saw me do it. Don't do that. All right, so that was his first action. Let me split this into 3 clues. 1, 2, and 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, for his second action, now he's just at 5 versus 4. He got 1 clue. All right, he's got 3. And for his third and final action, 5 versus 4. 5 minus 1 is 4, so he gets a 4th clue. And that is the end of his turn. Roland can kill this and lose that Doom token, because remember, that's going to advance this. So I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I am going to have to... Oh, hold on. Hidden library. Okay. All I got to do to put more clues on this... what did that? You know what? It was the... Never mind. It won't work. All right. So he's got 3 health. The automatic does +1 damage. And I've got play. If I don't kill him, I've got counterpunch, which will allow me to get a +2 fight versus him. But let's see if we can do 3. That's 2 actions. It's going to take the first action to do +1 fight, +1 damage. So I'll spend a bullet, and he is now at 5 fight versus 2 fight. And it does +1 damage. 5 versus 2. 5 minus 1 is 4, so I did 2 damage to him. There's 1, and there's 2. All right. His normal fight is 4 versus 2. I'll contribute. I don't want to have to pay this, so I'll just use it. I'll discard it to make it 5 versus 2 again. 5, that's it. So this Doom goes away, and I defeated the Seeker of Carcosa. All right, and he has one more action. He could investigate. He can contribute the elder sign to make it 4 versus 4. I hate to do it, but I don't have a choice. 4 versus 4. And I auto-failed. So he is done. All right. And this should have come back up, but exhaust him, choose a location until Mr. Budget location gets -1 shot against the passage rate. Darn it. Okay, think. Enemies. Doesn't move. This goes away. Doesn't move. It's my turn. Flip these over. Get a resource. Get a card. Machete. Doesn't really help me. He gets a resource and draws 2 cards. 1, 2. Choose an investigator. Investigator for 6. Max committed is... But this one's nice. It's got 2 on it. Choose an investigator. Investigator searches top 6 cards or deck for a card, draws it, and shuffles it into her deck. So, okay. That costs money. I'm not going to do that one. I'll keep this one. Okay. That is the end of the investigator phase, or the upkeep phase. Now, Doom phase. This one, instead, you flip any clues over to Doom. There are not any. This one's already been flipped. Then, who went first? Roland? No. Harvey went first this time. He gets another Seeker of Carcosa. Great. All right, and Roland gets Led Astray. Revelation. You must decide. Place 1 of your clues on a cultist enemy. He has no clues. Place 1 Doom on the current agenda. I can't... You have to choose one. Place 1 of your clues. Since I can't do that, I have to choose the other one, which means I have to put a Doom here. And now there are 2 Doom in play. All right. This one, it is now the end of the Mythos phase. A clue would go from here to here, but there isn't one. There is a clue here. It goes here and turns to a Doom. Now there are 3 Doom tokens. This is not good. I can only forward this. Only investigators in the hidden library may spend the requisite. So I need 2 more clues. I can do this. So Roland will go. It's his turn. He's going to shoot. He's going to take that Doom apart. So he's going to spend a bullet. Did he spend he had 4. Did I? No, I didn't spend another bullet that turn. He'll spend a bullet, and he is now 5 versus 2. He does. He puts 2 damage on it. And now he'll just punch it. 4 versus 2. And he'll use the machete to punch it up to 5 versus 2. 5 minus 1 is 4. That kills another Seeker of Carcosa. The Doom goes away, thankfully, and now there's back down to 2 Doom. Plays after 1 or more clues are placed on enemy. Okay, that's good. This guy just sits there. He doesn't do anything. After he enters play, move 1 clue to his location. After 1 or more clues on placed, so he would have a Doom, but then he would get additional clues. Okay, I got it. All right. Roland's got 1 more turn. He will action exhaust Mr. Peabody to make a passageway from here to here. And that means Harvey can now move here. Because it says until Mr. Peabody readies, that location gets -1. So this is a 1 shroud now because it's -1 and gains a passageway trait. So I can move from here to here for 1 action. For his second action, he will investigate and play perception. He is now... Well, no, I'm not going to play that. He's 5 versus 1. I'll take that. 5 versus 1. Oh, but this will let me draw a card. Let's do it. 7 versus 1. Just so I can draw that card. 7 versus 1. The skull. What does that do? -X. X is the highest number of Doom on an enemy. That's 1. So I did pass it. And I get to draw a card. And I got Research Librarian, and I get a clue. So he's got 5 clues. His third and final action will be to investigate. He doesn't have anything to help him investigate, so it's just strictly 5 versus 1. And I got this, which is, what does that do? It's just +1. And draw a card. Excellent. Okay. Field work. All right. This goes in. Now we have the 6 clues. Now I just need to get him here. All right. It's the end of my turn. Enemies, does not move, does not move, does not move. All right. Upkeep, flip, and flip. And draw a resource, and a resource. 1 and 2. They really haven't spent their resources. It's been mostly clue gathering. Draw a card, survival knife, draw 2 cards, 1, 2, and keep 1. Play until the enemy user book and place. No, I'll keep this one. When this action begins, gain 2 resources. Well, I chose it because I can use it to. I don't know why I chose it. Don't need it. So I readied them. I got their clues in a card. That readies Mr. Peabody. So here's what's going to happen now. No clue. No clue. So no attacking, but I do draw cards. Roland went first. He draws Led Astray. You must decide. Place 1 of your clues. He has no clues, so he has to place a doom. I hope I don't draw that same card by Harvey. Harvey draws Agent of the King. Prey, the person with most clues. It's a hunter, so it will follow me. Forced, after Agent of the King attacks you, move 1 of your clues to him. Forced, when you defeat him, take control of his clues. All right, so he engages with Harvey. Forced, after he attacks me. So what I need to do is get away from him. All right, so I drew a card. It is now, there are no doom tokens to flip. It's at 3 doom. It is now Roland's turn. Roland needs to stay here. So he'll draw 1, 2, and I guess he'll play, well, he can't play First Aid now because, well, he'll play it for 2 just to get it out, and it gets 3 uses on it. And he is done. Oh, you know what? I can't do that. I keep forgetting. I have to, instead of playing the First Aid, I have to use Mr. Peabody as an action. So he drew 2 cards, then he turns Mr. Peabody, which creates the shortcut, and that is the end of his turn. Now, Harvey. Harvey can move here, but that will get this guy an attack of opportunity, and he'll take one of Harvey's clues. So I need to get away from him. My agility is 2, and this one is 2. So I'm going to contribute 1, 2, 3 cards to make that 5 versus 2 to evade him. 5 versus 2. And I got the skull, which is the highest number of doom in play, which is just 1. Oh, the highest number of doom on an enemy in play, 1. So he does evade for his first action. Then he moves to the hidden library for his second action. And then it doesn't take an action. It just says objective. Only investigators in the hidden library may spend the number of clues. I have 6 clues, which I will spend, and I get to flip this. As you study the hidden library, you find a few pieces of information that stand out. As with the recent production, the previous performance of the King in Yellow came to Arkham from overseas and was performed by a French acting troupe. You don't recognize any of the cast members' names, and of course the actor who played the role of the stranger is anonymous. However, it seems that a member of the Historical Society has done some of your work for you. There are several old newspaper clippings gathered together along with information about the play. Headlines include, Cedar Playhouse closes due to fire, experts baffled over freak floods, and the like. Hidden amongst this information, you also find a strange object, a clasp of onyx with an alien inscription. The investigators must decide. You have to choose one. This is an important discovery. We should take it. R1. It's just a silly trinket, and it would be wrong to steal from the Historical Society. Leave it behind. Well, I don't know. I haven't looked at it. This is one of those where you cannot just make the assumption that this item is going to be something good for you. It could very well be a cursed item that you have to keep. Kind of like this Pallid Man stays in Harvey's deck until the end of the campaign. So let's think about this. I'm in the secret library where someone has hidden all this information to keep it out of prying eyes. And along with it is this item. Is this item possibly going to help me down through the investigation, or is it going to hinder me? I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to take it. I got to think it was hidden in here for a reason. If you think if it was cursed, whoever brought it in would have to stay with it, but I don't know. Maybe that isn't the way the item works. I'm going to take it. So it says to read R1. Scenario 3. All right. R1. There are no coincidences when it comes to the King in Yellow. There is no doubt in your mind that the object you found is important. You decide to take it with you before continuing your investigation. The last record you find related to the original production of The King in Yellow is a psychiatric evaluation of one Daniel Chesterfield, a stagehand who lost his wits after the final show. It seems he was admitted to the asylum after the production ended. Perhaps he's still there. I guess we're going to the asylum. In your campaign log, record that you took the Onyx clasp. Mark one conviction in your campaign log. For the remainder of the campaign, one investigator must include the clasp of Black Onyx weakness. It's a weakness. It's not a good card in his or her deck. This card does not count toward the investigator deck. Each investigator earns XP equal to the victory value of each card in the victory display. If Sebastian Moreau is in the victory display, I didn't get him there, record his name under VIP slain. Remove all these tokens from the bag, add 2 of these. Okay, so there's going to be a modification to the bag. Let's get the clasp of, was it the clasp? The Onyx clasp. Okay, it's a weakness. Great. While clasp of Black Onyx is in your hand, increase the cost of each other card in your hand by 1. So, whoever draws this will have to pay 1 extra resource when they want to play a card. It's a relic, not a tome, and Harvey does have some cards that benefit him if you have a relic in play. Okay. I'm going to give it to Harvey. So he's got the man in the Pallid Mask, and he's got the nasty clasp of Black Onyx. That was very fun. That was sort of easy. I mean, the Doom tokens, I guess I got lucky because I got all the clues here, and then whatever that card was that told me to refill. Here it is. It was getting through this that said for each revealed historical location, add more clues to it up to its max value. So by getting that, it didn't force me to go up higher and research. I was able to stay low. I suspect, I don't know. I suspect that I could have drawn other cards that would have forced me to go higher. These 2 cards were sort of drawn randomly. There's another one. There were 3 of these, and it said to pick 2. And then there's a third one that's not here. And I suspect maybe that third one was like no clues or something. Or it could have had a really high shroud. This high shroud without Harvey, there's no way. If Roland had moved here, that would have been not good. Harvey moving here would have been fine. But thankfully, I moved them where they were best suited. All right, that's all I got for this episode. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me as I played another game of Arkham Horror, the card game. This was Scenario 3 of the Carcosa campaign called Echoes of the Past. The next scenario is called Scenario 4, The Unspeakable Oath. And it looks quite long. It's got a lot to read. All right, that's all I got. I'll see you next Monday for another game of Arkham Horror. Until then, everybody, take care.